Hello, folks. It's Wednesday, the 5th of February. Cheers. I'm up early, 7:30 in the morning. Once again, if you received a message from Bandcamp about an old sale, my apologies. I had been ignoring that feature on my Bandcamp site where it says, let me see what it says again. Orders, okay? And I had been ignoring this feature where I could use Bandcamp to notify people about sales. I've been actually just doing it through emails. What I may do is, excuse me, I'm just waking up, so I'm just getting myself together right in front of everybody. Something in my eye. In the future, I will endeavor to use that to inform you, since it's so convenient. I didn't realize, okay? And I can include the tracking number and everything. So, cheers. How's everybody doing? I'm definitely staying away from the news. So, I'm going to be real quick. I can't recommend this. I can't recommend it. Okay. Be that simple. I'll see if I hear from the folks about it that sent me the record. I can't recommend it. I can't. So I watched all of this, and I watched parts of it again, and I really enjoyed it because it really strikes a chord with me. Because in high school, in those very early impressionable years, that's when I discovered this German music. I was ripe for it because of the Beatles and psychedelia. I became very interested in the continent, as it were, as a result of the Beatles and emerging awareness of the other music coming from Britain, and then consequently, there's all these other countries. What are they doing? And then Australia. So the German school is close to my heart, and it's a big part of my emerging identity musically. So I want to show a few more records. I didn't grab them, but the Krautrock 3 is number 3 out of, it's the third DVD in a series. I have all 3, but these folks have done Canterbury, and I forget the others. I have a couple more. They do a good job. But to continue showing some records that are really important to me, Faust, the original, well, this is a reissue, but an early reissue of the first Faust album, where their manager, Uwe Nettelbeck, was able to fool the record company, Polydor, into thinking these guys were the new Beatles. Here's a black vinyl version of the album, which is in many ways just as collectible as the clear vinyl. I wanted to show a couple other records that I think are real important for me, German-wise. And here's one, and this one actually comes from the Reese brothers, the Air Force brats that I told you about. I was thrilled to death when they gave this album to me, because this is how I discovered Wolfgang Downer, Free Action. This is an original French pressing of the album. This is amazing. This is dynamite, jazz rock. And the lineup on this album is stunning. You've got Wolfgang Downer on piano. I love his work. Jean-Luc Ponty on violin. Gerd Dudek. If you know your stuff, you know about Gerd. On tenor sax, clarinet. Eberhard Weber on cello. Jürgen Karg on bass. Manny Neumeier from Guru Guru on drums and tabla. And Fred Braceful on drums. This is a monster album. This is one of my top albums. And it's cool because it's on the French MPS version of the label, which I don't see too often. This is monster. This is Desert Island favorite. I can hear it in my mind right now, including the solos. I've listened to this so much. It's incredible. This is a German rock. You can call it Krautrock if you want to. I don't like that term. The German school is what I call it. I wanted to show a couple more here. They're not in order. But Wolfgang Downer also had this band called Etc. And was so glad I was finally able to hunt down a copy of this. This is psychedelic and also world music. And I love the fact that Fred Braceful, I forgot to grab it, Ex Magma. It's another one I was thinking about in my mind to show. But the crossover from jazz into this was from the very beginning. In the, I'll do that later. In the, excuse me. Okay, so in the documentary, Christian Richard of Embryo talks about how the origins of the band were the fact that he was actually hired. They were hired originally to be Mal Waldron, the jazz pianist's band. And that's what started Embryo. Once again, the black connection and the jazz connection. This album is interesting. And he talks about it. Father, Son, and Holy Ghosts. What we see here on the cover here is their roadie who knew how to breathe fire. The plan was to breathe fire for the cover, but when they took the shot, a gust of wind came up and blew it in his face. So what we're seeing here is the unfortunate accident. He was burned and injured, but the image was so strong they used it anyway, apparently with his permission. This is some cool stuff. I'm so glad I discovered this music young, because it's a sound that could not have come out of America. The sensibilities and everything, including the way the records looked, it's like, that's not American. It's very intriguing. Here's another one. The image alone. Embryo's Rosh. What a strange, cool image. Great band. Cheers. I have at least one or two entries of most of the primary. I didn't even pull them on Noi. I didn't even pull Noi. Of course I have Noi. But some other records that I thought that I wanted to just talk about a little bit was like when they spoke to Rodelius of Cluster and Michael Rother in the film. It's interesting how they talk about this Harmonia and this project, how it came together and what Michael Rother was trying to do. This is an original, a second pressing, but an original on Brain. I love this album. And they said this was a total failure. It didn't sell anything when it came out. But when he put out his first solo album, Flammende Herzen, which is very close to this, it blew up. And I love how he says, I don't understand the German people. And then this, Harmonia Deluxe. Beautiful cover. That picture really captures the ambience of what they were doing. Coming all the way from the harshness of Cluster with a K to settling into music that they needed and wanted to hear. This was also discussed as well, and apparently pretty important, so I'm glad that I have it. The Eno Harmonia Tracks and Traces. This was not planned for. These are just the recordings of them recording and playing and vibing. And this finally came out. I didn't pull the Cluster and Eno albums. I have them, of course. But I wanted to show this one. I don't have all of them, but the Rodelius solo albums. He talked about the importance of this expression for him. Selb's Portrait. I'm so glad I have a couple of these. This one is beautiful. It's very Eric Satie-like. Yeah, this is some of my favorite music. Some of my favorite music, period. Of course, here's another Etc. album reissue with John Heisman and Larry Coryell as guests. Nurse. Crazy cover, huh? This is wild. This is good stuff. See, for me, when you talk about German music of the 70s, quote-unquote Krautrock, these records come to mind right away, as well as the ones that we all know, and I pulled at least two, because I have most of them. Tangerine Dream Electronic Meditation. I need a replacement copy, but this is an early run. It's not first pressing. I found that out years ago from an expert who was watching me, and boy, did he let me know. But I have this. I have most of their albums. And then of course, Alpha Centauri. Is this on Brain? Yeah, it's on Ore. It's on Ore. This is an original. Okay. And then in one of the earlier Krautrock DVDs, they talk about this band, which is very important. Manny Neumeier, the drummer, who started the band Guru Guru. He's a friend of mine on Facebook. We've actually spoken. He was giving me a hard time about one of these, not this reissues, but the ZYX company, which has put out records from the 70s, but without license. And he let me know. I was showing one online. He says, those guys don't pay. UFO, this is awesome. I gotta show this. This is true psychedelic shit. This is some truly out there, awesome UFO. Perfect cover for it. This is some great stony music. And then, of course, I'm sitting on these in my lap. I'm going to show them all, and then I'm going to go. Of course, Amon Duul. Someone asked me yesterday, have you ever heard of Amon Duul too? I just erased it, and I said, that's a dumb question. You know, watch my channel. Go back and look. I've talked about all these bands. Yeti. And what an iconic album cover. What an image. I have the first incarnation of the band, Amon Duul, Paradise Warts, when they were a commune, just making racket. And here's one that you don't see often. An American, edition of Amon Duul. It's going to be either this one or Phallus Day. But it came out, well, I bet you this didn't even make it past promo. This is a white label promo copy on a small label, Prophecy, a division of Columbia Pictures, Bell Records. Okay. I remember when I found this, it's like when I found this, it was the first time I'd ever seen it. I had never seen it. And if I'd seen it on Discogs, like in the listings, I didn't remember, but the first Amon Duul. Now here's some records that I think really should be in the pantheon, and for me they are, of what we call Krautrock. This album is amazing. Dom, Edge of Time. This is so far out. This is so psychedelic. I mean, they get to a point on this album where it's like, wow, where are we? What's going on? I mean, they really. This is a beautiful reissue. Second Battle. They really get the job done on this. Another one of those one and done records. But boy, did they get it right. Edge of Time. I can't recommend this more highly. This is just as good as any of the classic Krautrock albums that you always hear about. You ought to hear this. Dom, Edge of Time. So glad I discovered this album. A few more. What else did I put? Oh, another one by Wolfgang Downer. Rishka's Soul. The Wolfgang Downer group. This stuff is as psychedelic as it is jazzy. I love these graphics. Great graphics. You know, when I was a kid and I'd see stuff like this, I just want to hear it immediately. It's like, what does that sound like? A couple more. This one is very rare, and so when I was finally able to find this, I went ahead and get it because I don't think I'll ever be able to find a regular pressing of it. Ga, Achterbahn zum Uranus. Garden of Delights, a reissue. Once again, this is one of those records where there's just like, yeah, these guys are smoking some real good weed. And you can even see it by the pictures, you know, damn hippies. But this again hits the spot. This is awesome. It's a picture disc though. So I have it on CD burned in here to listen to. But this is a classic German space rock album. Absolutely incredible. Really excellent. And that crazy cover too. Achterbahn zum Uranus, whatever. Excuse me, let me get this back in here and be nice to this. This is a rarity. Yeah, I still enjoy this music. I do. Oh, okay. I still enjoy this music a lot, and it's not just nostalgic. It's very heady. This stuff is very stoned. Very imaginative, okay? Excuse me. Let me take care of this stuff. And then I have a couple more. I needed to get this out and see, was this, yeah, Gunter Schicker, another Gunter Schicker record. Gam, Eiszeit. Okay? The cover tells the story. All right? And the last thing I want to show is, this is not considered, they don't include it, but I would. I include this in my Krautrock message from Books and Dreams. This album in particular, they have several records, but this one in particular, I think really nails it. It's kind of hard rocky, but at the same time, it's got that other essence. And I love the cover. So I could keep going. As I was showing this, I was realizing that all these other records that I have that are part of this that I didn't pull. But I love the German school. And I again want to thank Adele and Jose for sending me a promo copy to review and share with you. I'm glad to be hearing back from you folks who are buying the records, the CDs. I love hearing from you folks about how stunning this artwork is once you get it and see it. Boy, this would be so nice. Full size. That's how it was. The one, I don't even know who bought this. I should have kept it, but I sold the original, which was full sized. Besides the artwork, these albums I've been putting out are top rate. They really are. I'm so glad about that. Top rate music. Get yourself a copy. Okay? That's what I want to say this morning. We're hoping against hope to get some rain today in Omaha. It is so dry. We've had virtually no snow this winter. I mean, just a smattering, and it's just dry as hell. I hope we get that rain today. Folks, take care. I'll talk to you in a minute.